here as well. The debut of Edward Gaming. There's so much new stuff to dig into right now. And all of it mixed up with Smoggy coming into the mix as well. And starting things off, I mean, we're already 5 seconds into the pistol round. And Paper Rex looking like they want to send things fairly quickly over towards A.
Yeah, make no mistake about it already. You see the Prowler, the Boombot all being sent into the A side, but that Viper Orb just stopping them in their tracks for but a moment at a late lurk through into mid. Making sure that space is still gained as well. You can see it's going for a bit of a split now into Art. Held down for the time being. But the players up close and personal. Yeah, this is going to be a battle being taken. Smoggy! You're getting 3 in the mix. That is just unheard of. They've already locked down just the one extremity. There will not be a spike being planted, not just yet. Left down to Benkai. That 1v3.
He's worried about a flank, but flanks on Pearl are so difficult. It's a long, long way to push all the way down mid or out from B and come behind. But Benkai's just cutting noise here as well, trying to make the defenders to spread out a little bit on the map. Already though, what a round from Smoggy, coming in as the substitute. Picking off 3 with a ghost to start. You can tell EDG have got the talent. Here comes Benkai, gonna have to take a duel against nobody to cross this angle.
I was aware that there was a player ready and waiting, bit of a noise bait. But only around 20 seconds to work with in the round.
And nobody's gone back to check A, and it's just left this angle through A link.
There's enough chaos that's been sown. You're right, Josh. So
10
many
seconds
openings here. It all comes down to this fight that might be about to be taken.
He's got players all over him, and the reposition from nobody, it's so clean. The ghost headshots coming through there for EDG, and setting them off amazingly to start things out in Champions. This is a team, Brent, that no one really knows what to expect. You've got to think Paper Rex are massive favourites in the match overall. You know, Paper Rex are our second place team from Copenhagen. They're always better at every event, world-class team. And EDG, yeah, they stomped the East Asia LCQ, and they clearly have talented players, but there's just still so many question marks, so much mystery. And that will calm the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, that pistol win sets them off on a beautiful start. You consider the circumstances. Little util combo, you can see that was a seize into the fragment. Off to the side to see if they could catch out one of the players.
And also that Smoggy involved with it too. They're getting kind of involved in these set plays. Clearly hasn't pushed away their preparation too much to begin with.
Players cutting up the angles though. It's Paper Rex who are taking names, taking weapons as well, working their way into that alleyway. They are contained though. Bit of damage being done. Pulled apart, it feels like, in that middle area because they know exactly where the positioning is. And even with the Spectre in his hands, okay, he needs to watch for that. He heard, obviously, that rendezvous in play. Forsaken ended up teleporting right to the top side of things. He does have the spike in his hand as well, so...
He's going to get a free plant here for sure.
It will be.
But Forsaken, I just don't see a way that he's going to be able to win this. 0 bullets in the Headhunter.
This is intriguing.
He has to push deep here. He's in a 1v2 where he has no clutch potential due to only having a classic. So being able to get the jump on somebody here and find a timing on an A anchor would make this round winnable. Unfortunately for him, there's nobody anywhere close. Look at the positioning of Chishu and nobody.
Left.
They're miles away, just ready to pounce in the post plant. And I think this is smart from EDG, not allowing him to get those free 1v1s.
It's not really a safe plant position either. Onto the B side. You can see all the noise that he's making. That's a cleanup.
And both rounds have ended in the same way, with nobody pushing into a clever position, allowing the player to get the plant off and clutching it out. These EDG players are not just all-aim, no-brain. No. That would be such an unfair characterization of this team. Nobody in particular has been extremely impressive when I've been watching him in terms of how he positions himself.
Nice.
And how he takes fights.
And I couldn't agree more with that.
Oh, there's Kang. Definitely most excitable player on the team, getting into it already and picking up an operator.
Up close position there. Into the pocket, has to be cleared out with the Prowler. It's not going to spot him, though. Off to the side, this angle, it needs to be watched for. Just a little sidestep. Now the util. Slow being sent through, a bit of a jiggle peek, but that was a jump peek from Forsaken.
He's so aggressive.
Shot still being found, and yeah, Kang is going to be unrelenting with the positionings that he's taking. He's going to make sure that he's punishing you. You don't expect those risky plays every game, though. These guys are on top of it all.
Yeah, already on the flank, managing to get past the trademark as well, and Kang's picking him off.
I mean, an absurd performance. Absolutely absurd performance. Bonus round going to be secured. I was not expecting this whatsoever. You look at the starting lineup as well. They're not playing with life. They're playing with Smoggy in this lineup.
Yeah, a player that hasn't been playing with them, by the way. This isn't a long-time substitute. This is a new addition, but it's Kankan that brings out this bonus round. Basically the only player that had a gun worth blocking at all. But he's so aggressive and active. I think the percentage play in those kind of rounds is to try and get one and then drop back so you don't lose the operator and ruin your buy for round 4. But that is not the way that Kankan plays.
No.
If you look at the
he is going to push you to your limits.
Yeah, he is the most active player that we have at the event. What I mean by that is he takes the most duels. He's the only player in the tournament that we have that by the time you get to a half, he's got 20 kills and deaths combined. He averages 12-8 at the half, and that is just absurd. Yeah. Absolutely bonkers. Of course, the question always being for those kind of players, can they keep it up on the global stage?
That's the question, isn't it?
Listen, that round has given me some decent hope that Kankan is the truth here.
I mean, right now going toe-to-toe with one of our finalists at Copenhagen, PaperX.
And of course, it's early days. It's a map that nobody really knows about. But promising signs, to say the least.
A great showcase. Obviously, this being a timeout being taken by PaperX, working out how do they want to work around this one now, because with Kankan operator in his hands, honestly, the most logical sense is going to be that he's playing towards that B site, that really long sightline angle.
Yeah.
So how do you offset that? How do you play around that?
And I think that's quite difficult with PaperX's comp. You heard the desk talk about it, Mimi in particular, where she was saying there's two different approaches here. You go for the Viper comps, of which EDG have one variation. We've seen other teams, you know, or we're expecting other teams to try different types of Viper comps. Or you run the Raise Fade with the Astra. And the Raise Fade with the Astra is not very good at pushing back the Opera at B. Of course, they only have pistols this round, but that's my point exemplified there. You just don't have the utility across such an open area. And I think that this is going to mean PaperX heading through mid, through A lot in this half.
Yeah. It's a difficult map as well. There's a lot of tight corners you've got to be clearing out. Making sure that you are showing a lot of discipline when it comes to clearing out these areas.
Another little element of this area of the map too, you can see as PaperX try to pop in here, there's so many different trap plays that EDG could run, and once PaperX push down, they can still get flanked through that mid to A connector.
Pivoting, but the trademark's still up. They're going to be aware of this one, assuming it doesn't get broken, but there we go. Oh, it gets off. Okay.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that's unlucky. Okay, still. Kangan wishes to take a bit of a fight there, even against better judgment, a bit of a push through the smoke. Haodong getting away with 3 there. And Benkai though.
And you can already see the talent of these players. Benkai was thinking about unleashing the Nightfall. I think that would definitely have been a mistake, but for a moment thought it was winnable. I think for PaperX it's about this next round. That's what they took the timeout for.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you can already see the talent involved. Look at Haodong here, taking the push through the smoke, finds a spray transfer, and then gets onto the third.
I have never seen a team that has more consistent spray transfers with a Vandal than Edward Gaming. Every single one of these players just feels capable of pulling out some magical moments that you only see. That's a rarity in a lot of other regions, but...
So let's take a look. PaperX, are they able to stop the bleeding here? All of their players up towards A main. Nightfall off the rip to start. Didn't catch nobody.
Flash over the top. Nobody's not supportive of it, though. It just about fades away. Still Smoggy wants to take the fight. In fact, they're being backed up. Chichu with the spray down. He's grabbing 2. Benkai eventually removing him from the fight, but a bit of timing. Game of cat and mouse around the smokes. Forsaken takes away Kankan, removes him from the fight, all up to Haodong, the IGL for Edward Gaming.
Haodong looking to try and spot Forsaken, knew that Forsaken was lurking through this area of the map earlier on. Still with 3 stars to play with, and Haodong, he's able to get the spray down through the box.
It's going to be one of his targets found. It's him versus Benkai though. Stars drop down, pulls
That's a great smoke.
Yep.
Countered though.
If you can force, but he knows where the positioning is for both of them now. The C's is going to be grabbing onto it. Haodong has no audio cues in the mix. Quick little pop into the Astral form. It's going to be the smoke popped up now. Benkai playing so far back here. That's important to the back, trying to spray through this one. He's already got half. Haodong's just going to be sticking this one, and he's got the round.
That's an unbelievable clutch from Haodong. Taking it in a straight up fight against Forsaken. and then outplaying Benkai towards the end too. EDG are on a roll. This is so impressive. Look at that spray transfer again.
Yeah.
And something that Paper Rex are so good at is trading each other out in those kind of moments. You do not expect the Paper Rex players to trade out and be on the worst side of that. They went 3 for 3 in that situation when normally they power through teams.
That's Edward Gaming's play style.
It certainly is.
They are always ready to trade out additional firepower right behind them. Even if 2 of their players go down, they're not scared to commit bodies into the fight. It's the thing that powered them to a lot of their wins in the East Asia LCQ.
And look how much Paper Rex are having to focus on the A site right now. Just thinking about how their composition works, it's only Forsaken prodding towards mid, being that lurk player. Here comes Jing though with a showstopper, looking to try and clear things in.
Rocket in the mix!
What an amazing null command from Smoggy.
Yeah, completely. Just takes away the showstopper, and he still looks down the one angle at Art. Bit of a pop flash play as well, go around the corner. Might even be trying for seconds, but he bides his time. Bit of patient play now. He's managed to push back the offensive.
And EDG with a 4v3 situation.
Oh, the tether.
Information gain. Just all of the info about where Devi is playing.
Look at him. Up top on the half
stuck.
wall. Devi's position is known. It has to jiggle it now. What a flick.
What is that?
Goodbye, Mind Freak. That's a slow field drop down, of course. Nerfed in the patch they were playing out of champs, but I mean, Kankang's making the agent just look absolutely unbelievable still. Punished in the end, though. Slowly walking forward. There isn't going to be a swing just there. Damage! Oh, it's done. Resurrect is online. A bit of consideration before he lets it loose, but now down to that 2v1. Still time running low. An opportunity for Howdong if he does disrupt this, but no stars to pull off the plans.
He might have an amazing timing here. Can he get there in time? No, not quite.
Got that one. Knows the other one's at default. But it's going to be this double face from Paper Rex. What a difficult ask. The movement. It's a slight sidestep, a reload.
Look how well Howdong is playing with the wallbang here.
Just trying to make sure he gets those stray bullets off. If he gets even one kill. Smoke laid down, sprays it through. 9 left in the clip, but eventually shut down. And finally a round on the board here for Paper Rex.
Eventually able to make something happen. And the one slip up there for EDG is Kankang hunting for duels that he doesn't necessarily need to take. You take a look at the replay, they played the ult situation perfectly there. The swing from Chichu is exactly as Jing loses his showstopper, but Kankang goes for another one of those big flick up kills, misses it that time, and allowed Devi an opportunity in to get his resurrect off.
Second timeout for Paper Rex.
That's absurd.
In the first half.
Burning both timeouts by the time you get to round 7, I think that shows the pressure, actually.
Yeah,
the Paper Rex
scrambling potentially a little bit as well. You think about a team like Edward Gaming coming into this one. You know, no one really expects his team, you know, newcomers to the global stage. First time they're really playing against top competition, up against the finalists of Copenhagen.
Yeah, I think it bears mentioning how much bigger Paper Rex are as a team than anyone they've had to face so far. EDG have actually done a great job. They stomped their way through East Asia LCQ. They beat Northeption, who went out in groups at Copenhagen. That's pretty good. And they played against 4 other players in that LCQ that had been to a Masters event before. But the rest of the field was somewhat weak, somewhat untested. This, though, is a totally different ball game, and they're stepping up.
Yeah, unknown quantities across the board, isn't it? Pearl being played, but they are certainly...
The other part about that too, Brent, is that EDG haven't had very much time to even prep Pearl. The LCQ teams should be at a disadvantage on this map. They don't look like it.
It's an excellent point. Should not have had much time at all.
EDG's economy under a ton of pressure. You can see that despite being 5-1 up, that single round that Paper Rex have won has put EDG back onto a thrifty.
Look at these liberties, though, that are being taken with the Viper's pit drop down in A main and all the information being gained. Kankang's pushed so deep. They know that mid is relatively compromised here.
Smoggy making sure to get rid of the horn there, allowing Howdong to stay in his tough position.
Double bangs! That's going to be the face, though.
But here comes Kankang. All of this delay from the rest of the team allows him to get a timing.
Just making a bit of noise. That is going to be the kill picked up. Still, Paper Rex are in control of this mid area. The spike was dropped down. It looks like they are starting to vacate back through mid. Still have control of it. Haven't broken the trademark just yet, but they know it's there. It's been in play for quite some time, and it's up to nobody to see if he can wrestle off a couple of shots. The angle's lost at the end of the day. What is that? A flick of the wrist, and Jing removed from the action. One way to punish him.
And now you get a chamber battle in mid.
left.
Forsaken with the tour de force. He reads the play from Kangkang, but can he read the second player coming from the same direction? Is there any hope here of Chichu being able to get this round on the board? Not after a bit of bulldog spam coming through the doorway. Chichu's given away his positioning.
Yeah, and Forsaken should be favoured in this fight, obviously, with the tour de force in hand. Easily done.
And Paper X pick up another one.
Okay.
Clean anti-eco, despite the best efforts of Kangkang and nobody. Already, Brent, we're seeing this individual talent from EDG.
Yeah.
The flick shots have been absurd, the spray transfers already.
There's a big question for me, I think, as well, coming into this. How were Edward Gaming going to be competing against a top talent of international competition like this? They've played against talented players before. They've shut down talented players, but when you're on the global stage, when you're at champs,
It all gets harder.
it gets much harder. And were they able to keep it stepping up? Are they going to still play with this confidence? The answer so far has been yes.
Once more, Paper X looking towards A. Their composition doesn't have answers for the B side of the map. You saw that with Kangkang pushing up in the prior on the Thrifty. And this time he's playing in mid. He realizes Paper X are not going to walk into him. And that is just info for another Kangkang peak. Forsaken's under crazy pressure, and he has to rendezvous away.
We're being watched though by Mindfreak. Smart enough to back away, still works his way into a bit of a deeper angle there off to the side. Being swarmed by multiple players. Kangkang anticipates it. Does not have any sort of rendezvous setup, but goes for the read peak. This guy is...
He's crazy.
Just insane. But now the util dump onto the A side. Players working their way through. The boombot, the crowd, the horn being broken down as well. It's going to be that 1-for-1 at the end of the day. The fight is being taken all over the place. Spike is still going to get planted now onto the A side. Forsaken making sure of that just slight angle over the wall.
This is an aim-lapse workout.
One
You're kidding me.
another. The bullet's just being spammed out. Bit of distraction. No time for Paolo to work his way into the back of the site. Somehow gets away with two, but only just now is the wall being broken. Forsaken makes sure that he doesn't lose his confidence. Takes the fight, takes the swing.
And after the 5-round lead that EDG put on the board, Paper X have answered back with 3. 2 of those being gun rounds. So EDG now feel pressured themselves to take a tactical timeout. And really, it's the same kind of thing happening. Paper X are being able to get onto the A side, trade out effectively, and play post-plans with advantages. So timeout for EDG. How do they want to address this? In reality, they've actually been pretty good at adjusting their defensive setups.
Yeah.
For 5 rounds, what they were doing was working, so they had no need to shift it. Thrifty came in, Kangkang pushed B, that added a different flavor to the round. This time around, Kangkang was playing aggressively in mid off the back of nobody, and I thought that that was a good idea as well. They've identified that Forsaken is lurking through mid and should be a target that can be punished. Forsaken, though, very intelligently playing around his rendezvous and Mindfreak's support, was not punished in the same kind of way that EDG wanted.
Exactly. Containing that mid presence that was being showcased.
I think EDG now want to be playing aggressive on A. They tried it once. Off the back of Benkai using his Nightfall, nobody was able to get up aggressively, and Chichu got the 2K spray down. That's the kind of round that I want to see coming out from them again, actually, here. And they've got 3 players stacked up. It does look like they're going for something similar. However, this is the one time Paper X go B, reading it after the timeout. What a gorgeous call by Alex or Benkai.
That's the trouble. The map is so big, honestly, that when you commit this many players over towards one of the extremities, one of the main positions, they're not going to be able to help out the players who are locking down B, but it's up to Haodong. Kangkang will see what they can do. Teleport back. It is an off-ankle play. Haodong's lucky to get the 1 there.
Forsaken with an immediate trade. And now the question for Benkai is, do we pump the brakes or do we commit to this one?
Slow orbs being sent through. Not many bullets left in the chamber of that one. And that's going to be just a quick tip-tap there of the Vandal at play. Okay, sidestep with the movement there. They're going to be smoking off the trademark, but Mindfreak hears it.
He hears everything.
Yeah, knows exactly what's occurring. Does he expect a second player? The answer's no.
And Chichu with another opportunity for a clutch. In the 1v2. Chichu is actually the player left in the clutch scenarios, the 3rd most in the tournament. He is so comfortable in these kind of spots. Wins almost 20% of them for EDG. but in this one he's got a massive health disadvantage.
It's not exactly favoured. Snakebite sent into the back there of Elbow. Wants to try and isolate one of the fights, but this crossfire that's being set up by PaperX, that's hard to break through. Forsaken's able to take contact. There was going to be a swing there as well from Benkai, so very winnable for them. And so far, PaperX on a bit of a heater after burning both of their timeouts.
Definitely worthwhile getting those 4 on the board. EDG's aggression on A, though, didn't get spotted. If I'm Haldong thinking about how to IGL this round coming up, I'd be very tempted to go for A aggression again. PaperX are unlikely to hit B. I think that was the kind of strat that you pull out after an opponent timeout. You're going to go back to your default kind of setup now. So I want to see EDG react to this, and it looks like they're going for it again. Aggression towards A main, as Jing also gets on the line early.
Double satchel play, flash over the top. That is on a multitude of targets, but there's Viper all in the way. It's going to offset that aggression once more. Oh, this is going on.
Almost a bit of anti-synergy there as well, stuck by Chichu's on wall.
Kang has to respect the smoke being pulled back as well. Wasn't certain of the positioning, no longer could hold that angle safely.
But there are 4 players here stacking for EDG on A. They know this is going to be an A commit. PaperX have just so rarely been going to B.
Yeah, it's honestly a complete sacrifice of mid-control, isn't it? They've got that Prowler's unfortunate. On the side of PaperX, we're hoping, I think, to just avoid it.
And that's continuous information at the 55-second mark that PaperX still have players towards A. If you're planning to pivot into a B hit, I don't think there'd be any reason for you to still be in this area. I think that's good info that EDG can keep 3, 4 players here. These star setups are really cool from Mindfreak.
Yeah, everything being dropped down, but not enough done before, ahead of the time, to try and burn down a bit of the Viper's fuel. So that orb is going to be blocking them up at the choke points. Late lurk there through Art.
The question is, which do EDG commit to? Do they stop the site hit or the lurk?
Forsaken's just going to be taking a fight right to them once more. The flank is going to be shut down. It's going to be a resurrect in play. Benkai's making sure that he shuts that down, holds it down still. It's going to be the spike. Has to get planted now with 11 seconds onto the clock, and Mindfreak was capable as well of watching just a deeper position that was being pushed up on.
Vice position given away, and Kang with the trade early.
Lovely shot as well, positioning gained from the Haunt.
And Jing does not let him get away with anything. PaperX have tied it up after being down 5 rounds in a row. This comeback has been nothing short of excellent, and exactly what you would expect from a team as quality as PaperX. Not allowing things to rattle them whatsoever, and halting the momentum of a team that, I mean, when we had heard interviews with EDG coming into this, they talked about the fact that they would probably be nervous in this first game. Getting onto a 5-round win streak is massive for them. And now, some of that momentum taken away.
Pull, stars in play. Oh, it's an entire cluster of bodies are going to be met at the top side of B here. You can feel the utility just being tossed out to the side. Smoggy's in a world of hurt right now. They drop down to his feet, vulnerable on top of it, but nobody still with the Marshal in his hands, holding for a bit of a wide swing on top of it. This is particularly dangerous now.
All of these rounds end up coming down to the wire.
Right inside of the smoke.
With a Marshal.
I mean, up close. Forsaken is low enough now that the body shot might be enough to do it. No. Eventually finds his target. But a gun has been acquired. Chichu working his way out of the back, and this guy, he is a clutcher. He's known for it. Spike planted. Mindfreak tries to take the fight as well. Down to that 1v1.
Chichu has the Viper's Pit to work with here too. Worried about Forsaken peeking in from that back elbow position. There goes the pit. How does Forsaken respond to this one? You want to try and get in the pit early if possible.
He has to, but just far too slow. And that's going to be the 6th round here for Edward Gaming. Chichu's just too consistent in the clutch. Great decision making as well to isolate the angles of which a fight could be taken with the Viper's volleys coming out into elbow.
Last round before the switch.
Chichu is in these positions so often. The people left in clutches the most are Chichu and then Shao, Scary, you know, like big names of the clutches. And Chichu has been good for it domestically, within China, within East Asia. That is the momentum you need to give you some hope heading into the final round, into the next half. Can EDG put a 7-5 together here?
Play. It's a great Red Bull clutch to start things for them.
Bring them down.
Both chambers with the tour de force. It looks like PaperX might be faking a bit of B control right now. The spike's still in top mid. I don't think this is going to be a commitment over towards B. The idea just being to pull the EDG players around. Still 3 of them looking to anchor A. Not biting on it just yet.
Still that presence from PaperX as well, as they're just poking and prodding into the mid area, hoping for players to be working their way into their line of sight angles.
Face your fear!
Oh,
Made an attempt, okay, well, Nightfall's going to be coming through. That does force out the null command.
And there's still enough time here to just cancel.
Yeah, if they wait this out, Jing is going to have to showstopper, but this is an important fight to take. Kang!
Down mid.
You got to be kidding. Tour de force, players dropping like flies, and they know that the position is contained. Finally, no suppression at play. A bit of an exchange there. Bullet for the rocket. It is that 1-for-1. Mind Freak. Oh, he's got a lot to do. Okay.
Mind Freak now in a 1v1 against Haodong. The IGL, is he going to be able to pull out a clutch here?
1 round and a half.
Mind Freak was so incredible at Copenhagen. Is he able to pull out magic again?
Stars available that obviously does not want to go into astral form. Haodong does have his own ult, and that's going to be the wall dropped. Hopefully isolating a couple of fights, but it is mind games on mind games right now between both of these players. How do they want to take it?
You do not want to be playing mind games against Mind Freak.
No. Star as well as in position. There's going to be a pull for Mind Freak.
The star on the spike indicates an A main positioning here, I think, for the post plan. But Haodong is still looking towards Secret. He's got the right read if only he commits.
And now onto the spike. It is the wrong read. Mind Freak has played that impeccably. 4 kills in the round for him to finalize this half. And it's evened up for Edward Gaming and PaperX. Absolutely outlandish stuff that we've witnessed here in a Red Bull launch.
Now, this play is amazing and just gets PaperX right back into it for even. What a shot. What a play.
Perfect movement.
And Mind Freak managing to get the clutch out the end there.
Mentality break dance, mentality break.
Players. You can feel how much it means for the PaperX. The watch party back in Singapore. Huge scenes all around. That's going to do it for the first half. Let's send it down to the analyst desk to break down all the action thus far.
Thank you very much, Bren and Saisha. I'm back here with Mimi and Achilles. None of us are disappointed, are we?
It's everything I could have wanted
Yeah.
it more. Perfectly tied up at a 6-6 here at the end of it. It's just been action-packed the whole way throughout. Incredible clutches coming through as well. I'm just beside myself with happiness. This is great.
I want to talk about Kung because we didn't really get to focus on him too much in the
Sure.
pre-match, but he is a crazy player. You know how crazy he is. Do you feel like he went as crazy as he normally does?
Yes, and in some regards, a little bit more crazy than he did in the LCQ. This guy will just re-peak angles that you think nobody should mess with, and he will come up with value more often than not. He's nuts.
Yeah, there was so much trust put in him in that first half. He was so often alone towards the B side of the map. The sets were really cool from Edward Gaming, but I'm interested in what we're going to see into this second half, because
Sure.
again, there's been 2 solutions to this map. One for Edward Gaming has been that Astra Viper composition, which I think can really thrive on this defensive side. Now switching over to the attack, I'm wondering if they're going to struggle a little bit more, because when you're lacking that Sage, B is really hard to hit into. It makes you have to have an added element of complexity. It makes you have to lean into these splits, which for PaperX they weren't really doing. With that Sage, they could just be super execution heavy. So on this attack, we're going to need to see something different from EDG.
I want to see the Viper Wars, what they can do with the Viper, but I also think that, I know, Achilles, you are kind of unsure if 6 rounds would be enough for them as we were watching the game. I think it's enough. I think this is EDG could take this.
I certainly still have faith in this squad. PaperX, they're finding their stride and whatnot. They managed to bring it back for to close out that attacking half relatively well after considering how everything started. But I think they still have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, I think the Fade Race is going to be really good on this defensive side. PaperX is great at those combos.
Well, let's jump back into game. I can't wait to see what's going to happen, Bren and Saisha, in the second half.
Certainly been shaping up to be an excellent series. 6-6 here. It feels like PaperX as well have wrangled back control, at least of the momentum of the map.
I think so much of it can still shift on this pistol round, honestly.
Absolutely.
And Kang, I said he normally has, you know, a ton of duels. The most active player in Champions. He's even more active than usual right now. 13 and 10. Over a kill per round by a long shot in that first half. And he's going to be required to open things up here. You don't want to put too much of the pressure on your substitute Smoggy.
What he's going to be facing. Fight potentially kicking off in Ard as well. In fact, yep, the players, they want to take it. Not afraid of any sort of aggression from both of these teams. It's very purposeful at that, and look at this, still. Double doors locked down. That's going to be almost a triple face, as well as the players look to swing out and again regain control of it.
That's all 5 players from PaperX fighting in mid.
Yeah.
Way more than EDG were expecting to have to deal with. And any reactive play into B off the back of the Viper wall doesn't have the spike. I mean, there's just nothing to be done here. PaperX are all over it. Chichu's going to have to be able to pick off Benkai just to start this one.
It has to start here, doesn't it?
Toxin screen down.
The slight angle that Benkai is holding means that, yeah, all up to Kang. With 40 seconds left. They should know the positioning as well, I believe. Trademark was killed off over towards B. So
Yeah.
they know that he's lurking deep, potentially behind them in the alleyways.
30
At this
seconds
point, it's
left.
just a numbers game. You don't even mind losing a player early just to figure out where the guy is.
Yeah, Tobias taking a jiggle. That's a wide swing.
Forsaken's on an off angle.
Yeah, needs to be safe hands though. Shots are actually being missed here, but there's not a lot of time on the clock for us.
Oh, what incredible patience there from the rest of PaperX. They bled Kang out of his headhunter bullets and then immediately triple-faced him as soon as he started shooting with the classic instead. I mean, just gorgeous stuff. And that, I think, is one of the big differences between these teams, actually, is that PaperX have all of that experience to just learn when the aggression needs to be tempered heavily. Having said that, EDG have been pretty good at it so far this map, but they're going to get tested on the attack side, especially now that PaperX have taken the lead for the first time in the series.
This is where you might start to see them snowball that lead a little bit further. Obviously no spike plan here for Edward Gaming.
This is so fast.
Yeah.
Edward Gaming have found out where the trademark is, very common position from Forsaken, and just immediately ran on top of it.
They're happy to give them control, it looks like, of the alley. Players roaming around that boombot, just refusing to die. But whole load of information being gained as well, and with the double face, Spectres easily enough to just chew through the bodies that might be trying to approach them. And again, just up to Chichu, who's obviously getting this late lurk in. But with the spike drop down, inevitable in terms of the round. At this point, you're just thinking about what to do next on your buy.
Yeah, I think this is a good time actually to take a look at the Viper setup. You can see here how his Viper wall from Chichu is denying information for PaperX and forcing them to play B aggressively if they want to see anything. And Chichu would have to pull off a 1v5 to win this round. It's a good start for him, but Jing shuts it down. But this Viper wall that he's using is one of the big things that PaperX are missing on their attack side, because it allows EDG to pick rounds where they can try and lurk somebody up B long, or put the whole team contacting up behind the Viper wall there as well. And so this looks like it's just going to be the same wall being thrown every time, and if they want flexibility in terms of their smokes on the rest of the map, that's Haodong's responsibility.
But this is the buy round now.
And a pretty healthy bonus for PaperX too. Forsaken going to invest an operator similarly to Kanka on the defensive side and playing it in the exact same spot.
Yeah, slow orb off towards that choke point just to make sure that they can set up Forsaken. There's a very deep position being played as well. So far, early days for Edward Gaming. In fact, they are willing to give a lot of respect in mid, it seems.
Look at the two duelist players for PaperX, Jing and Forsaken, have so much control over the extremities here.
There's so much space.
I mean, Jing is just getting monstrous information and only pays for it with a single wallbang bullet.
Still down to the minute mark in a round. It does have to be cautious now. Star being dropped, bit of spam through the wall. There's that trademark in place still that hasn't been removed. Trying to put a bit of a pre-fire up onto it. You can see that's a trap play in motion. As soon as they even get a whiff of that being triggered, they try and go for a pull as well, seeing if they can capitalize, take any players down with them. But a fast pivot now into Art as well. Space needs to be gained, and it looks like it is that A split with the fragment off to the side, making sure nobody's inside that smoke.
And it's down to Benkai to see if he can grab somebody. Here comes Devi, super quick behind, didn't check the back of the box.
30 seconds left.
Down to Mind Freak. Smoke on the one side of him. Trying to stay alive here. Benkai to the back as well. That's going to be util dumped into it. The nade to try and push them back. On top of that, the satchel. Spike's still not being planted. A fight. Oh, it needs to be taken. Forsaken with the operator. He doesn't want to overstep himself. Benkai's at the back of the side as well in secret. Just trying to deny it. The time is running so low now. Pinging it on the pre-fire angle. Fights are being taken.
Benkai.
But he just needs to spam this and he wins. He just needs to spam it and he wins. But he's found out. Ooh.
It's a close round, and one that EDG takes away with some very nice mid-rounding. There's another big question for EDG. When the rounds get tough, when the fast plays don't work, and you heard about it in the interview that Yinsu and Mimi were doing earlier, when the rounds get tough and when the fast plays don't work, do they have those adjustments, those pivots in the middle? And they did here. They faked a mid-doors push, immediately rotated everybody quickly through art, and took a pinch into A. Played the post plan with discipline. This is some great play coming out of EDG on their attack.
That's good information gathered.
Yeah, that is a fantastic knife lineup. Perfectly catches onto Forsaken. Not only do they know his position, but most of the time that's going to force a rendezvous. Not for Forsaken, though.
And he's still disrespecting it, still holding this angle. It was smoked off, but Kangkang's just looking all the way through, tries to get the spray down for the 2K, but eventually he's going to be shut down. But it has pulled players from Paperex on the defensive side, leaning over towards that B area. And some re-clear, it looks like, as well from Jing as he's making his way through art into mid, making sure there's no late look plays over towards A.
Going 1-for-1 with the chamber does benefit EDG. Pumping the brakes here is a gorgeous call from Haodong. It's going to allow him to work off the Viper wall and deny information, especially with that trademark going missing. It forces Benkai to play towards mid-doors, and now Jing's got some control over mid. Benkai can rotate back. EDG have an opportunity here to commit to B, but they've got to be quick now.
Yeah, they have to be fast.
30 seconds
Information was
left.
already gathered prior. That's from Mindfreak. Nice sees over the top. That's onto just one of the players. Almost trying to go for his plan.
Spike
Benkai.
planted.
Oh, the angle is there. Wants to take the fight, but the weaponry was just not ideal. I believe just a stinger in his hands. It's going to be this flank coming up into the top of B. There has to be a player watching this angle now, and then you have it. Not quite enough to find the kill, though, and a nade. Oh, that is impeccable. That is perfect, but he moves his crosshair away.
Jing thought he got the kill.
He just assumed he had it.
Whoa, what a kill from Smoggy! And that allows him to deny the Sage Wall as well.
Portion of it
Mindfreak.
blocked off.
17 health, no shot. He manages to pull off another clutch like he did in the first half.
He's pretty much just already given it up. No attempts to make his way over towards the spike, just seeing if he can take the guns away. Not even getting that though, just has to back away and save his own rifle in the play of things. 8-8 is going to be the scoreline here. Edward Gaming, and I gotta say, I think this is a beautiful time to highlight it, Josh, here. Edward Gaming, it's their first time on the international stage. They're also playing with a sub in the form of Smoggy. They're going toe-to-toe with the finalists of Copenhagen.
Yeah, and that is spectacular. Of course, Pearl is a map that we don't have any info about. We don't really know how good Paperex are on this map compared to the competition. But I can tell you that Paperex look prepped, and they've got some good ideas, and they're playing the info game well. And EDG are still managing to find opportunities to outplay them. This is dead even currently.
EDG, they're a last chance qualifier team. They shouldn't have had a lot of time to prep on this map, on Pearl. It's the opener for us, and clean as ever. That's Kangkang. Easily a bit of a tip-tap there with a rifle. Spam as well, going to be supplemented with the help of his teammates. Nade over the top, and a satchel to be used. Jing, of course you want to take the fight again. Unexpected. Forsaken. Oh, you're taking some liberties with that one, Devi.
Spike
Still
down A.
safe hands apparently with the Sheriff in his hands. This is a half by a reminder. Paperex are quick to answer back.
And this could quickly get crazy. Devi now with a res online. There are two bodies here, but both in areas that it should be very difficult to get reses off. If you just wait for EDG to commit to a site though, one of these bodies at least is going to open up.
You are divided.
Interesting wall.
Yeah, just cuts Devi off. I think Devi just wants to play quietly here. Just chill, play off the back of your ult. But Jing, as ever, going for it.
Showstopper's online. Does he want to use it? The answer is no, saving it for a rainy day because the Thrifty is in their hands.
What a round by Paperex. Just showcasing that they have talent in spades as well. Both of these teams have a wealth of it. Jing, this re-peek onto Kankang is absurd.
Yeah, it's demonic.
Kankang's got the most kills in the server at the moment at 16, and Jing is so unafraid. Of course, because he's Jing.
Let's go.
That is what you'll have to see. Oh, for players like these, what a joy it must be to be back on the biggest stage in Valorant. It feels like they were only just off the stage, Paper X. But you get that itch, it's got to be scratched. Paper X as well have not had to go through groups at any point this year. They were able to just go straight into playoffs and do fantastically in both of our Masters tournaments. Now they are in, I would argue, the toughest group that we have here at Champions.
Yeah.
Especially if EDG is going to be playing like this. And it's going to make for some fantastic games. But it's also going to test Paper X. Nobody is safe in groups like this.
I don't think so. Not when you're champions, obviously 16 teams, all coming together.
Bristling with skill.
Capstone of the year, isn't it?
It really is. And at the moment, Paper X managing to take that Thrifty and spin what should have been a 9-8 lead for EDG into their favor, pushing EDG back onto a Thrifty of their own. So in effect, that's a 2-round swing right there.
It's massive. It's one of those that you look back at in the VOD reviews, and it's that pivotal round that changes the entire map.
You can argue that's a 3-round swing. It goes from 9-8 to probably 8-10, as long as Paper X are able to stop a Thrifty on the other side of things. We haven't really seen this Viper Wall getting a ton of value. Maybe this is one of the rounds, but the trademark...
That's going to be the Senpai! The trademark, he gave Jing all the information, he double satcheled over the wall!
What a demonic set
You've got
play!
to be joking! And I gave all the information for the kill.
Get that one in a highlight reel immediately. I think Jing's been on TikTok.
Yeah, I am speechless at that one. But that's the kind of preparation, obviously, that you can come into a map like this with when you are Paper X. I've had all the time in the world off the back of Copenhagen to think about how you wanted to handle this map.
Benkai did say at the end of Copenhagen, we're always going to keep it fresh. We're still going to be playing aggressive. That was a Paper X special. And Jing follows it up, taking out Kankang, removing the tip of the spear here, takes out Nobody as well, cleaning things up. Jing had a bit of a slow start to the map, but now he's really fired up. All cylinders.
It's so important, I think, when you're playing against a team like Edward Gaming. You have to keep up the confidence.
And Jing's just messing with him. Jing is just messing with him for the divide flank. Ooh! Haodong reads it.
These are not players you really want to be messing with. Even Haodong eventually shut down, but there is mechanical ability in spades on either side for both these rosters. But this is the lead that we were talking about.
Show me that replay and try it in your own ranked games.
That is
what a gorgeous angle.
And it was off just the slight trigger there of the trademark.
I'll tell you what, if that is a heavy B hit, you could easily get 3 with a setup like that. And it makes the Viper Wall,
Nice, guys.
it kind of neuters the Viper Wall. This time, possibly for the first round, Chichu choosing not to commit it over on B.
Looks like a faster play though, that's going to be no command. And that Nightfall scatters through. Gonna get a 1 tag. Of course, the disrespect are being shown still by Forsaken, but he's gambled onto the wrong angle and kills are being found. One after the other. Benkai hiding behind the wall. This is a position that he's been playing time and time again, but does he have the teammates to try and bail him out of it? Bit of a spam angle. Things are there to try and line it up for him. The answer is yes. Paper X are coming through with the gun. Still the spike is planted, but damage more than done with the Resurrect online. It's now the 3v2. Have to play inside of this pit. We'll just spam it out, you might get lucky.
140!
Stray bullets coming through, Chichudo, now he's repositioning, moving his way through, a tap of the spike. That's going to be, I believe, the pull to offset that. The back of their minds, they know that nobody's going to be onto this one, and still taking the fight once more. Another tap with the smoke in play, and what a clutch in the end of it.
With a Vandal inside the Viper's pit.
Just breaking all the rules, isn't he?
Every shot magnetic onto the head from Chichu there. And that, I think, just showcases how strong the ult is, too. Doesn't matter if Chichu is in a 2v3 with 10 HP. 1 bullet, I think, was all that he had.
2 bullets
bullets left. But that is the final bullet in the clip that again magnetically finds the head of Benkai. Chi-Chu has been keeping them in this game. Kang opens it up and Chi-Chu puts it to bed right now.
It's a very fast round off of largely pretty slow play, but look at this. All this positioning being gained up B long now by the defenders.
And this is the conditioning. EDG don't want to go towards B because of the trap plays, because of the trademark. Oh, Forsaken almost punished there.
Felt very low.
Love this Viper smoke as well. All of the Viper utility being used in combo. And if you use the trademark on B long, it's not there at mid doors. And that is what EDG have decided to pivot towards.
Angle still being watched though. Fight still needs to be taken. Mindfreak with that pull. Vulnerability, I think, onto Chi-Chu. Tries to go for the wider swing, but that is great crosshair placement.
And those are the kind of fights that EDG winning in their online games where they just force the battle. But PaperX good enough to punish them for it. And now PaperX have infiltrated everywhere. Jing, Benkai, all the way into the attacker's spawn.
Yeah, this is chaos just being sowed.
But that's the way that EDG like it. They thrive in the chaos.
No charges.
Haunt to try and re-clear, because obviously they're wondering,
30
okay, are they on A,
seconds
are they on B, are they in mid?
Haidong has a
Just trying to
timing.
contain.
Haidong has a timing to be able to get this plant down. And Smoggy could have tried to go aggressive, look for a pick.
Spike planted.
This is a very unorthodox plant location as well. Just underneath heaven.
Smoggy's got a great idea here. He knows that Devi could be around there.
I'm wondering now. I think Devi is aware. I think he might have just seen the edge of his model. Double satchel play across. Tip tap there. Reset of the aim is good enough, but he is being flanked, I believe, from behind. Player from under there. Devi actually going for the wall to try and lock off one of the angles. It's a double face in the end. Mindfreak does win out that fight, and now this wall is causing all sorts of issues. Eventually will fade away, but the spike is being stuck. And again, the angles watch. Mindfreak, this guy is a demon when he's on the stage.
I had questions about Mindfreak's performance from Copenhagen, honestly, Brent. Mindfreak had poor performances at the global level for every LAN that he'd been to before Copenhagen. And then he turned up and he was talking about how much more seriously he was taking his VALORANT performance. And I don't think it was a one-off. I think Mindfreak's incredible play towards Copenhagen seems to be replicating itself again in this map. He's kept up that pace magnificently with a 4K in that round, the ult to clutch things as well. And PaperX are dragging a lead, kicking and screaming away from EDG. If they're able to put away this anti-eco,
Flash over the top. Spam comes down with the Vandals. PaperX, they are going to be winning this one out. The reset of the aim. Benkai will need a bit of help surely from the rest of his team. Down to 15 health. And he is skipping and hopping away, but not quite. Warbang takes him out. 2v2 and a fast flank from Devi right behind them.
It's so quick. The PaperX players are flanking instantly on a map this large.
You don't anticipate it. You don't. Timing's been played off, but he has slowed it down. He's not going to be taking the fight to them. Just wants to try and contain.
And
Same
a lot
for
of
Forsaken.
discipline for Forsaken.
Yeah. Slight jiggle and attack on that plan as well. They are looking to see if they can force out these
Last
angles.
player
That is
standing.
the one-for-one fight. Just being missed. A whiff from the bullets. Chi-Chu. Oh, he wins it. What an important round as well. Would have been map point.
It's EDG with a thrifty conversion off the back of Chi-Chu clutching once more. Chi-Chu is so comfortable in these clutch positions, but that never should have been given to him. He baited out a swing from Devi and just dodged at the perfect moment to throw him off.
Yeah. And
Can't pop off. Go get it, my son. Global stage, why not? The finalists of Copenhagen getting brought to round 22 here, and you still couldn't call it. PaperX gathering all of their players up towards mid, expecting to go for some kind of crunch, but instead EDG, it's one of the first rounds where they pour players into B.
And it's a fast play. Star still being dropped down. That's going to be a pull to disrupt it once more as they hit a plan, and that horde has not been dealt with. An easy spray down for Forsaken. The players lit up like a Christmas tree. Nobody's still trying to deal a bit of damage though in the midst of it. See if he can turn the tide of the fight. These smokes are causing a lot of issues for them. Another one popped up just to see. There's a gun in play. That's going to be picked up, and now they know the positioning, but works his way around. That's Jing again. causing all sorts of mischief in the play. Nobody sprays him. That's 4 kills in it for him now. 18 bullets in the clip. Position going to be revealed. This is a warbangable angle.
The horn didn't reach.
It didn't, but he's still slightly aware. Too many angles to watch for. Device should be favored. 125 health, and he knows the positioning of nobody.
Nightfall to play with if nobody thinks he has a moment to unleash it.
30 seconds
To
left.
this, one shot will do it. One shot is all it takes for Devi.
And he gets redemption for the previous round where he should have been able to put Paper X onto map point. Finally manages to do it himself. 12-10 the lead here for Paper X. And the fast play, this is one of the first rounds where we've seen EDG go for a fast play.
Enemy remaining.
And it did get countered. Nobody did a great job of being able to bring it back into a 1v1, but the haunt through the Viper wall, how quickly Paper X were reinforcing those B-side anchors.
Absolutely.
They had the read.
Just a slight miss on that protocol, I think, of who should be destroying the utility that comes through. But again, another fast play is being made. That's a Nightfall. Through a main. It's counter play as well. It is a fake. There's not too many players. Bit of whiffage in play at the end of the day. It's Edward Gaming who are coming out on top. But now they have to deal with this one. Penkai. Oh my goodness. They just about see him. Either his feet giving him away or what. I'm not too sure. Down to Mind Freak. And this guy has been capable of unreal scenes before. But going to be leaving him. You can have A-site, mate. We're not going to be dealing with you anytime soon.
They've left Chichu here to cut off the rotate.
They're going to be hearing this.
But what happens in a 1v3 is that Mind Freak is actually given this opportunity to make it a 1v2. If he's aware that somebody could still be lingering, doesn't even think about it, and Chichu's gamble pays off. 11-12, 1 away from overtime. And what a bizarre round that was, Bren. And it knocks the Paper X economy back down onto a rough buy. Look at how this one played out. They fake the Nightfall into A. Counter Nightfall comes out as well. And Paper X decide to push into mid, anticipate. There can't be that many players in mid if they're Nightfalling A. And instead, everyone from EDG is ready to collect the crunch. What a massive advantage EDG have in this final round. Big ultimates online, huge economic advantage. This should be an OT map.
It really should. Expectations out the window, I think, for where we thought the map might be going. Not many people, I think, would have predicted Pearl as our opener.
Not at all.
Total Force going to be unleashed.
Only Haodong towards mid, and Paper X has been getting aggressive.
Free clear.
So I like this passive positioning. He dodges the Prowler as well. And now, as the IGL, telling the rest of his team to fake with the Haunt over towards B and actually bring their players back. Look at how aggressive Paper X are again, though.
I think Edward Gaming are aware, though. Haodong's going to be calling that it was a deep Prowler.
I mean, he doesn't realize this time.
Timing is absolutely everything here. Right in their faces, a fight being taken, and of course your favorite there with a Stinger. Bit of an exchange of weapons as well onto the ground. That's going to be an upgrade for Benkai. There with the C's, but at the end of the day, they do have that positioning, and time is running so low now. Down to 40 seconds.
And look how Paper X go from being extremely aggressive up in mid to abandoning it completely. They can play with the time,
Really
with
smart.
the player advantage.
30 seconds left.
And EDG have to worry about all of these spots. They had everything to bring this to OT.
Find you.
And suddenly, it looks like it's slipping away from them.
Just turned on its head, it feels like, but with the Vipers put down, there is a potential opportunity. Tap of the spike, but time is running so low on top of this, and Forsaken, that tour de force from earlier.
That's
well,
the
it's coming
spike.
in handy.
10 seconds
Spike
left.
dropped outside of the pit. You can pick it up, you can try and plant it, but your position, it is known absolutely everywhere, and there is not enough time on the clock. You have secured yourself in quite a pickle, young man.
Defend.
13-11, that is the scoreline, and Benkai can't believe it.